English translation, 259th contact. Tuesday, 25th February 1997, 1824 hours.
Nice to see you again already, my friend.
In accordance with my promise on 28.11. 1995 that I would bring you the latest findings regarding the flying apparatus issues as soon as they were completed. That is now the case, and because I am staying in the SOL system anyway for several days, it is my pleasure to be able to visit you once again.
With the matter of the flying device, you do indeed mean the things about the cake ship, aka wedding cake ship UFO, yes?
Certainly.
Then fire away.
My assumption was correct, that the utilization of the plan, in regard to this flying device, found wider-ranging interest than that merely futuristic forms of container lids were manufactured from them, as I communicated to you at our conversation on 28.11. 1995. Our very extensive clarifications have revealed that the flying device plans were variously divided up and were used for further manufacturing. As, for example, for various forms of decoration and holding devices for various purposes. Also, exposed bolts for furniture shelves were created out of certain parts of the plans, as well as roller bearings from other parts of the plans. A flower pot base came about from another part of the plans, which, in its outer edge part, is very precisely configured in accord with the plan sketch. Consequently, therefore, even the surrounding pertinent special elements for the screening of the visibility of the flying body was carried over, and indeed so precisely and correctly that no difference exists between the plan sketches and the terrestrially created product. However, these are not the only terrestrially manufactured products from the flying device plans, because we could determine a total of 17 different objects for different purposes, which were worked out from the plans. We have gained no knowledge as to why that happened, if you exclude the fact that the flying device plans of that time were ripped out of their entirety and were distributed in several European countries, as well as in America and Japan, where they found utilization for the planning and manufacturing of the most varied products which, in part, are still produced and utilized on the Earth today.
Then it will not be long before the next attack comes from the side of my yet ex-wife, as well as from the side of her bosom buddies, R, K, and B and consorts, who are quite industriously busy with that, in order to defame everything and find things to which they believe they can object.
That will continue to be the case. There is no doubt about that, because the hate as well as the envy against you of those named is very great. Also, vindictiveness plays a great role in that, especially from the side of your wife, who maliciously left and truly at no time considered standing by you.
I know, so we do not have to talk about it. So let us choose another topic. Recently, Bernadette came into the living room during the night watch and asked me excitedly if anyone was in my office because she had heard voices through the door. One of them was deep and pleasant. However, when I looked around, I could not find anyone, but I noticed that my office chair was moved to the place I always put it when I left the office. The sofa overlay was also in a mess. So I thought
that one of us had been present. With that, you had actually hit the real facts. It was quite a bit after midnight on the same night when I was visiting you that evening. One of my friends in Quetzal and I were in your workroom. My friend wanted to see where you work and how you set everything up. I did not think that any of the center's residents would hear us, because we really do not talk too loud.
But Bernadette heard you anyway. But that is certainly not too bad, because everyone knows that you make yourselves comfortable in my office every now and then.
Of course, that is true. Nevertheless, we are uncomfortable if we frighten any people.
This is not a big deal, especially since practically everyone knows that you come here and there, Stay in my office or walk around a bit outside.
Nevertheless, I will be more careful and inform everyone that more caution should be exercised.
Also good. But take a look here. I came up with the idea that we could make a little photo booklet with a little bit of text to have some more information material. Here I have prepared something that you should have a look at. Here, this is it.
I think the idea is good. Such a small booklet of this kind would certainly be advantageous for your work.
Then you think we should make one like this?
Certainly.
Well, then we will work on it. As far as the Hale-Bopp comet is concerned, do you have any further information?
No.
Well, later then. Now I have another question regarding the fact that on the 21st day after the procreation of a human offspring, if I may put it that way, the spirit form moves into the newly procreated life form. In this begetting of the new life form, the question arises whether this is always the case, or whether there are exceptions or other moments that can be shifted.
The given order proves that there are no exceptions in this regard, for without exception, every human newly conceived life form is enlivened by the spirit form on the 21st day after conception, whereby in the tiny newly conceived body all life functions are put into action and the entire organism begins to live and the heart begins to beat.
Thank you. We talked about these things several times, but I came back to this topic because I wanted to write it down in a contact report.
Then I want to tell you now what was to be learned from the Arahat Athersata level regarding Stefan's professional destiny, which you asked me to do on the 3rd of February. Stephen's professional purpose is fixed in electrics and electronics, whereby his lifelong activity also stands in this context. There are no provisions regarding a police career of temporary or permanent employment. In addition to his occupation in electrical and electronic engineering, he has not chosen any other form of livelihood that would fill his life, but only certain other activities that he has chosen for himself on an as-needed basis and which do not point in a particular direction.
Then he would actually have a lifetime job in the field of electrics and electronics. That is what he learned.
That is right. But now, my friend, I have to do my other duties again and say goodbye again. Goodbye.
Salome, my friend.